Good morning, guys. It's Safety Sally out here in the woods on a cool, foggy morning to talk about a few final thoughts I have on axe safety. And at the end of this video, I'll announce the 100 subscriber giveaway winner. Stay tuned for that. But first, no always, no never. Let me explain. In short, absolutism as a philosophy in general doesn't really appeal to me very much. You tell me that something is always or must always be one way rather than the other, and I'll tell you that's a false binary. I'm sorry, but life is just more nuanced than that. And so is axe safety. If I say never limb on the same side of the log as you're standing on, you're gonna have to violate that principle often to get any real work done. Safety gear. Wear it, don't wear it. I don't really care, but I've already said that it's a good idea anyway to wear steel-toed boots, maybe some chainmail, certainly some gloves, but it might not also be a bad idea to put on a pair of these peepers, safety McGlarses, because after all, you're probably most likely to get a chip in your eye at some point. And if you do, we'll pull out this. Talk about this first aid kit, which is always in my pack, what I carry in it and what I don't and why. But in a word, it's a glorified Band-Aid kit. All right, guys, really quickly here, lest I bore you. This is the contents of my first aid kit, which is on the side of my pack at all times. A few survival items here. We have an emergency blanket, a poncho, and a whistle. Don't know why that's in there, probably from my Les Strauss days. A lighter, which you could use as a sterilization method if you had to. I used to have a needle and thread in here, but it's not there anymore. I also used to have some eye drops. So these Q-tips are the thing that you're probably going to want to keep in there to get something out of your eye with some eye drops. Should probably replace those. An alcohol pad, and then the glorified Band-Aid kit. We got some Band-Aids, which you're going to want. A few cotton swabs, some good emergency room tape, some loose pills here, mostly Tylenol, Imodium, Benadryl, some burn cream, and a good pair of tweezers. Not those crappy plastic ones they give you in the off-the-shelf stuff. Get a good pair of tweezers to get splinters out of your fingers. And the most serious thing I carry in here is some advanced clotting gauze. If I cut myself with an axe, this is what's going on the cut, and I'm going to get in my vehicle and get to the hospital. Otherwise, because I have cell service here, I'm going to get on my cell phone and call somebody to come get me. If you're going into the woods by yourself and you're not going to have cell service and you're going to be chopping, you might want to consider a more robust kit. But this is what I carry, and that's why. All right, guys, whilst I finish nibbling on my bacon here, let's talk about another axe dummy rule. And that's that when you travel from point A to point B, you should keep your axe sheathed. And that's probably a good rule if you're going a long distance and you know you're not going to be chopping. But let's be honest, it's not very practical. Once you get to the field and you plan to do some chopping, you're probably not going to be sheathing and unsheathing your axe. At least I don't, and I'm not going to tell you to do that. So how can you stay safe? Well, carry the axe right up by the head where you have most control. Don't toss it over your shoulder like an idiot. And if you come to an obstacle that you have to cross, like a log, stick the axe in the log, go over the log, and then pick the axe up again and return it to your hand right above the head as quickly as possible. Oh, the other thing I thought of is if you were to trip and fall, to throw the axe or not to throw the axe? I say nay. I don't think it's such a good idea because you never know how far it's going to go, where it's going to land. So long as you have that axe grip right up by the head, I think you're going to be just fine. Now, of course, a double bit is a different story, and because of that, it's a little more dangerous. And maybe there you want to sheath it if you're traveling. But I'll leave that one up to you guys. Let's talk about sheaths real quick because I think this is the place you're most likely to get cut while taking off and putting on the sheath. The type of sheath that I prefer, that I think is most safe, is this snap style axe mask sheath, the kind that I have on the Grand Force. The two that I like the least are the over the top sheath like I have here on the double bit, because right here you're vulnerable to cut yourself. You could cut your wrist, you could cut your hands. You kind of have to really be careful and drop it in there. It's a little bit awkward. Although this style I think is the most unsafe and awkward. So it's that axe mask kind that I like, but it's not a snap. So here you have to put the string over the head and put the bit into the sheath. That's not so bad. But now how do I tighten this up while holding the axe? It's awkward. Normally to do it I have to set it on something like this and pull both sides. Maybe I'm just being a nit, but I don't like this kind. I think that this and this are a lot less safe than the snap style sheaths. Well guys, that's about all I got time for, but before I go I want to announce the axe giveaway winner. And the winner is John Grosballen. I'm sure I'm butchering your name, John, but you know who you are, John G. You're a relatively new subscriber, but you've already brought lots of people over to the channel, and I do appreciate that. You also comment on just about every video you watch. More importantly, you heat your house with wood, so I hope you can use the splitting axe. I'll show you that back at the shop, and we'll talk about the details of getting that over to you. But thank you guys to all the new subscribers and to all of you who entered the contest. It was difficult for me to choose a winner. But I got a new contest for you. Since you guys have blown that challenge out of the water, I figure we may be able to get 500 subscribers by the first of the year. So if we get 500 subscribers by the first of the year, I'll do another giveaway. You have my word. Congratulations, John. Thanks to all the rest of you guys. I'll see you back at the shop to go over the axe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay safe.